Welcome back, guys. I've been on a hiatus lately. It's just been hectic here at the house, so I haven't gotten to do much with the truck other than drive it. Since the last video, I had a heater hose blow out. I cleaned that up, put another one on. I tried to tidy up some wiring. I don't know if you can see that much, but it's not much, but it's better than just it going everywhere. So today is, I'd say, well, we're getting close to a year of having the truck, and I never really dealt with the fuel filter on it on the premise that, well, it's not being driven at this point in time. Why do I need that? So the stock filters have a two-piece setup. You got the filter, and then you got this little water drain set up at the bottom. And they have an extra O-ring and stuff here, a gasket, whatever. And in short, they are extremely prone to leaking. And you can see that right here on mine, there and down the line there. It's just one of those things that it's happened, and I'm tired of it. I've been battling air intrusion on this truck for a while. Just if it sits more than, say, 8 hours, it doesn't want to hold prime, so forth. So, under normal circumstances, I was going to convert over to a Wix 33417 filter. And I went to CarQuest this morning, and they cross-referenced this over to their brand of filter at 86417. And it does not have the two-piece. It just has the water drain at the bottom. So that costed me $19 and some change after a healthy discount, because the Wix filter I originally mentioned, they usually go for about $54 a piece at the store. So it seems like a lot of money for a fuel filter is all I'm saying. But with that said, we're eliminating parts. We're still keeping the fuel heater and stuff, so there's that. But basically, we're just eliminating down here where it could potentially leak, and if not leak fuel, leak in air and cause hard starting issues and stuff like that. Alright, so after you disconnect the little rubber hose that they had hooked up here, you're going to start with the little cap here at the bottom, and you rotate it clockwise when you're looking at it, and it's actually counterclockwise when you get the really looking at it, but that's just the way I'm doing it here. You rotate that enough, and awesome. Now, some things I want to point out. That was in my fuel filter. This truck's been running fine for a while. When I say fine, it did have its problems. So I did learn something else. It's put you a piece of plastic or something to move that away from your exhaust manifolds. But yeah, this is what we're looking at. This is the grit and the crap that was in my filter. So at this point, now that we got that removed, we can start trying to remove the actual filter itself, which seems to be really stuck on. So you might have to use two hands. You might have to use some channel locks or a oil filter wrench, since it's large enough. At this point though, just like I said, just same rotation, everything, just keep trucking along to remove that filter. So I got the old filter off, and when I say I got it off, I had to literally grab it with pliers and just yank the crap out of it. I have the grip of a newborn anyway, so that fuel everywhere. It wasn't a pretty sight. So anyways, that one's off. New one is ready to go on. It has this right here on the bottom, and it says explicitly for this little barb that comes with it is, do not leave barb and hose assembly attached to drain valve during engine operation. Only attach it to drain the water from the filter. So this is a keep this in the glove box item, from what I understand. So from this point, all we should have to do is fill the filter with diesel that I got at the store earlier this morning, and spin it back on, and then crank the engine, get it started, and once it cracks off, it should take off and run on its own accord. Now, that being said, given that I dumped a half a quart of diesel on my exhaust manifold, I'm going to use some ether to try to wash it off in a sense, so at least there's not that much there. So just like you do with oil filters, grab you some lubricant of some sort, put it all around your filter O-ring. Also, at this point, you want to make sure your old one came off, so we're going to verify that by flipping this one up, and yes, it did come off. So at this point, when you get your O-ring lubed up, you want to go ahead and just pre-fill your filter. What this does, it takes an extra step out of it for your truck, because otherwise you just have to sit there and crank the crap out of your engine to mimic the same thing. And it's just unnecessary wear and tear. So just get you a bottle full of diesel, put it in, let it sit and soak down till you get it, you know, as full as possible, and then from there just screw it back on and then try to start your truck. Now, if you noticed down inside past the threaded portion, there was a rubber piece that had little fingers on it. What that's for is you push it all the way up plus a little bit, and then it helps you hold on to it as you are spinning the filter onto the filter head up here. And then at which point you should be finished once you make sure it's sealed, and that way you can start it and make sure that the filter's not leaking. For whatever reason, my tachometer has a mind of its own. Once the engine warms up, it actually shows the right temps. First blush, the engine sounds happier. It doesn't sound so labored it doesn't sound like it's just running. Second blush, I've noticed a lot of throttle response, like that little blip right there. Before was quite a bit of throttle pedal movement, so I'm going to say that's a win. Now, whenever you do start up on your first time after fixing the filter and stuff, don't freak out because it's coughing and spitting and sputtering. That's just the air working out of that new filter. That's why I filled mine all the way to the O-ring to help eliminate that. So it just got a little bit of airlock, and that was it. It pushed past that, and now it's sitting here happily just chirping away. Now, that's much better than what I had.